Yeah, I'm Katrina and I'm in fourth year of graphic design, formerly known as Viscom. And yeah, we're about to start our major project now in a few weeks, so right in the thick of it. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the course, having a good time. It's a difficult course, but I think it's something that was really suited to me and the way that I learn. I was never very good at exams and high pressure situations like that. So the continuous assessment project based stuff was something that I found really helped me learn a lot better. And I think the overall community of the course is something that I really enjoy as well. Like my courses, we're very close. We're all really good friends, and I've good friends in other years of the course as well. And I think that's a lot to do with the small class size, but it's also a lot to do with the lectures and the environment and just the way that the course is set up. It really lends itself to making really good connections that I think do you well for a long time afterwards as well. And yeah, I suppose that's most of what I have to say about my experience so far.
I think, guys, we can respond in the to questions as they arise, I think. So thanks, Katrina. My name is Peter Reavers. So I'm a lecturer on the course. I teach art direction and photo video on the course, and I'm also the course coordinator at the moment. So so that's my lot in life at the moment. There'll be I'm going to probably show you now a video shortly on the course, and then I think we'll just open up to questions after that. If anybody wants to clarify anything that they see in the video or any of that sort of stuff, that'd be absolutely fine. You don't just pop your questions into the chat and we'll try and get to all of them. Okay. And we'll make sure that you have the sort of the key dates and all of that kind of thing as we go along as well. All right. Okay. If you're happy enough, then I'll start showing you a video. If I've left enough time, I wonder if I left enough time for people to all get into the room. Let's see how many people are in here now at the moment. Okay, so thanks, Orla, for popping that into the chat. I think I'll just close this door for a little bit of quiet. One second. Yeah. Hello again. All right. Okay, so I'm sharing from this computer, not that computer. Right. Okay, let's go. So, guys, I've thrown a few links, and I think Orla has pinned them in there. So there's 3 links to for you guys to follow. One link is a link to the actual course itself. It's our course page, so you can see sort of some of the stuff that we do, sort of information about points and the general information about the course. You'll see some student work there as well. There, what you sort of finish with and all that kind of stuff. And basically sort of our DNA as a course. So that's all on the IDD course graphic design page. Then I've also stuck a link in there, which is sort of to, work that you can see throughout the year group. So there's some stuff that would be first year work, second year work, third year work, fourth year work. Okay, so that's in the idtdesign.com. And then finally, I put in the on-show page, which is the exhibition for the graduating class of last year. So you can see the work that they made and all that sort of stuff in there. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now and play actually me talking about the course. So apologies for the fact that you get me lumbered in stereo. So just stay with me for a second, and I'll put this on. Hopefully the sound will work. You can give me a shout out if it doesn't work too well. Okay, right. Hopefully everybody's seeing that. Now, click into this, press play.
Hello, my name is Peter Reavers. I am a lecturer on the graphic design program at IIDT. We are a hands-on course based on an active and vibrant campus. We have small class sizes and a highly motivated teaching team. Graphic designers combine images and texts with ideas to solve problems and to tell stories. Traditional graphic design would usually take the form of printed posters, newspapers, books, and logos. As the world has progressed, so have the ways designers can use to explore their ideas. On this program, we build on traditional graphic design and embrace the exciting new developments in the industry. Building on traditional graphic design principles while embracing the new leaves our graduates with excellent employment opportunities. Our graduates are working in studios in Ireland, New York, London, Amsterdam, Berlin, and many more, leading exciting creative careers. Recently, the IDI said Ireland currently produces 1,300 design graduates each year. By the year 2025, we will need 6,000 graduates. So why IADT to study design? Industry collaborations, excellent grad employment, high staff-student ratio, committed staff, 4 years of study, strong Erasmus links, international reputation. We want people with problem-solving and abstract reasoning skills. We teach you all the technical skills you will need. We want notebooks that show curiosity and the ability to explore ideas. Some graduate projects. Vibrance Festival, a project by Alex Connolly to encourage multiculturalism. Annie Rose project Mighty aims to enable young adults to feel like they have a fighting chance against the climate crisis. Using infographics, the app shows the combined impact of people. Faye Oliver's project, which offered a counterpoint to anti-immigration rhetoric. In 2021, the course won awards in design research, interaction design, product social design, brand identity design, design for digital, printed book, and typography. IADT accounts for 4% of all graduates, but 55% of all graduate design awards. Our course is recognized internationally by leading figures from the design industry. For more information on the course, see our page on the IADT website, visit us on our open days and taster days, or contact the course coordinator. Thanks.
Right, okay, stop sharing. Okay, guys, so hopefully that has sort of got your interest going. Yeah, so the course obviously is very successful. Our graduates do very, very well. As you saw there, we're winning 55% of all awards, even though we're only 4% of the population. So that says something to the standard of our graduates, you know, and the work they put in, and basically how the system is all set up. You know, it's a much broader course than some others. You know, you sort of deal with a lot of different types of design. You get decent flavors of you know, different ways of thinking. Our course has a very, very strong respect for, you know, critical thinking. So 25% of the course is about, you know, culture and thinking and history, and, you know, how that's relevant to sort of, you know, design work, future focus work, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, the high staff ratio is really important. So there's a lot of teaching staff, and the teaching staff, I got to say, I'm delighted with the team that I get to work with. It's a proper privilege. Some really, really, really good teachers, and you know, the studio is vibrant. It's always working. You know, anytime you guys come and visit, you'd see, you know, that everybody is at it, and hopefully they're having fun and making nice things and all of that sort of stuff. And that's kind of it. That video there, that is a really, really good, succinct sort of explainer video for the course. And that is on the graphic design page, so you can continually revisit that. And while you're thinking about, your application. If you are applying to IADT, I recommend you put us down as first preference. We tend to fill close to full capacity on first preference every year. So yeah, consider putting us down as first preference if you really want to secure a place. I guess I'd be interested in sort of, I might just share a little bit more of the other links so you can see sort of some of the work that gets made in IADT here. If I can, I wonder if I can share from here. I'll try it. Okay. Let's see, IADT.com. So hopefully you're able to see my screen there, and I'll click over into this. Okay, so this is iadtdesign.com. So this is the home page. Let's see if we can. This is the video you just saw, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, bear with me now. Course information. Okay, no, sorry, my bad. I'm making a mess of this. An absolute mess of a graphic design at IADT. Is that? Theoretically, we should be seeing galleries here as opposed to just this sort of stuff. So, course, projects, activities. Okay. That's good. Okay, I'll try sharing it from the screen instead. I'll stop sharing from here. Maybe I've clicked into the wrong thing here. So. Technical issues. Oh, look, there's Donald. Hello, Donald. ADT design. There we go. That should do it. Okay. Are you guys seeing that now? Yeah. Okay, so that's the IADT design page. You can see lots of projects in here. So this is iadtdesign.com. So you're able to see that we're doing things like, motion graphics, typography, poster design, all of that sort of stuff. So you guys can go in there and have a dig around at any stage, and you get a good flavor of what we do through the years. There's some really, really stunning work there by the students. So you can have a decent dig in there. I would say as well that you're welcome at any stage to sort of come and visit us. Obviously, the best time to visit us for sort of getting maximum information is on open days. Our next open day is on March the 25th. And yeah, so what you would get to do on an open day is you get to talk to lecturers. There would be a talk through on portfolios, how to prepare portfolios, and you would get to talk to students and actually see the campus and hang out and get a flavour for it, because it's one thing hearing from a lecturer giving you the sell on the program. It's another thing entirely to talk to the students and get a really good feel for how they're experiencing it, and what kind of advice they'd have to give you from their perspective. So I would highly recommend that you come to the open day on the 25th. If you can at all manage it. If not, like I say, it's okay to reach out to me and come on a visit at another stage as well. That's all right as well. All right. February 1st is the CAO deadline. As I say, I would recommend that you put us down as a first preference. Now, if anybody has any questions, that would be great. Okay. Do you need any, there's a question, do I need any Photoshop experience for this course? No, you don't need any Photoshop experience for the course. You don't need to be able to demonstrate, any proficiency in software skills before you come. That's all good. Sorry, Jonathan, there is no online tour. Yeah, we haven't managed to put that one together yet. No, but if you can't make the open day, like I say, you can feel free to come and visit at another stage and contact me directly, and we can arrange for you to do a walk around. That's no problem. So I'll open the floor to questions. So start pinging them in, guys. And sorry, just to reaffirm, you can ask Katrina questions. So Katrina is here too. You will learn how to do coding on the course, but it's not a really deep dive on coding. We concentrate mainly on the functionality. Look like so we might describe or we might design how a website would work, but you don't need to be able to code every last bit of that. You'll be given some grounding in coding, but mainly it will be about user experience and user interaction. That's the concept. That's what we concentrate on, as opposed to the real muck and bullets of coding. We try and take on the course, we try and take as many shortcuts as we possibly can to produce great results and not to overburden students with too many things for them to consider. It's a hard balance to pull, but that's what we're after, I'm not entirely sure on the portfolio due thing. That would be, you'll find that on the website when the portfolio is due to be submitted. How many classes per week? We don't really do classes per se. There would be, workshops, there would be talks, a lot of independent study, a lot of peer-to-peer. Some days you won't have a lecturer with you. That happens more and more as you go through the years. You'd have a heavy staff presence in years 1 and 2, and then slowly as you go into years 3 and year 4, you see less of the staff, because that's about you taking ownership of your projects and your own learning. So it's not like there's lecturers, 4 lectures a day or any of that sort of stuff. It's workshop and continuous assessment is basically how we are sort of doing things, I think Orla has put the due date for portfolios there, so the 20th of March is the deadline for that. Okay, what another question that I might have there? Do we do work experience? Yes. Well, we don't. You guys tend to. Sorry, the students tend to find their own placements, and they do that in 3rd year. So yes, you go out. You're encouraged to go out and find internships in 3rd year. We do provide a little bit of backfill if there's an issue with going out and finding a job for an internship, but no work experience. And Erasmus is also encouraged as well. So traveling to other universities in Europe, and we've got really good, we've curated really good places for people to go with good relationships with Erasmus partners. What do we need? Go ahead.
I'll just say a little more on the job experience and Erasmus thing,
Please.
because I was able to actually do 2 different Erasmus programs last year. I did the workshop in Poland, which was like there was 5 colleges that did a workshop together from all over Europe, and that was a really great experience that I was able to get because of IADT, and it was something that I've not really seen a lot of other colleges in Ireland do, and it was obviously really great connections. And I was also able on the work experience thing to do an Erasmus internship over the summer. So I spent 3 months in Scotland doing an internship, and I actually also got that through contacting other past students of the course and that kind of thing. So I think it's a nice it's a really nice community that you get put into, and you end up with a lot of contacts and a really good system of people that are there to kind of help you and guide you along a lot. Yeah, just thought I'd mention that.
That's great. Thanks, Katrina. Other questions? Feel free, Katrina, to jump in at any point. Okay, so what do we need for the portfolio? I mean, a lot of the things that we really we love looking at notebooks. Like we want to see how people think, and we want to see who the person is, you know. Like we don't tend to need to see things like typography or that sort of stuff. It's okay if you're interested in it, but we'll teach you that when you get here, because there's a lot to that. So you know, you don't have to show us that. I would say that I would avoid as much as possible any automation. So, you know, like using filters or, you know, particularly using AI and stuff like that. Anything that takes away from who you are is not helpful, you know. So we want to see your ideas and all that sort of stuff. If you have mixed media stuff and all that sort of stuff, that's great. You may have seen in the video somebody flipping through a portfolio. That's a really good exemplar of the kind of thing that we like. Also, there's a video on it within the IDT thing on portfolios that we made to sort of help you out, and there's really good guidance in there on what you might include. Again, you can come to the open day, and if you like, you can even show us stuff at that point, and you know, we can give you pointers as to, you know, how to shape things a little bit. That's fine too. You know, it's not open. You know, we won't be going through it for ages with your or that sort of stuff, or we can show you stuff that has worked for us. Generally, there's no magic formula to a portfolio, and you know, we see different things in portfolios. If we see people who have we can see commitment, we can see energy, we can see thinking, we can see problem solving, we can see technical skills. All of those kind of things are important, but you know, they have different weightings. So once we see that somebody is suitable to the course, it might be through any of those measures, like that. If the person has an engine, and if they're hardworking, and if they, you know, if they're good at taking shortcuts, and if they're good at sort of smart manipulations of media, and if they have ideas, you know. Generally, we're interested in the person, you know. That's the main thing about portfolios. Okay, let me just go through some more questions there. Thank you. Orla is just lashing in the links there that are really, really helpful. So she's put in the link to the portfolio page there and a PDF of the guidelines for each course there. So that's great. Is the first year for all? No, it's not. So thank you for that question, Inez. That's a major difference between us and the other courses. If you're on graphic design, you're doing graphic design. There are some little bits where you do stuff with other courses, but you're straight into graphic design. More or less 80% of what you'll do in year one is graphic design. It's not a shared thing. It's specialized straight away. You will have common things, like, you know, with some of your coursework, but the percentage of it is quite small. So, you know, in other colleges, you might go and you might do a year of something, and then they decide how you're going to progress. If they go, okay, so, you know, you might be better at jewelry than graphic design. We're not going to do that. You're going to go straight into the course if you're accepted, and graphic design is what you will do. Hopefully that answers your question. So what's the saying? And for example, if I get into after first year and I decide you want to do graphic design, okay, so if you decide that you want to do graphic design, you won't be able to transfer from first year art into second year graphic design. You'd have to resubmit a portfolio and ask for a transfer. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to progress into second year. You'd have to start at first year, because you would have missed out on too much of the learning, because it is specialized. Hopefully that answers your question there, Inez, and thank you for that. Thanks everybody for your questions. It's really helpful. Is UX something that can be adapted from basic creative skills and problem solving? User experience is something that we niche that we teach. Do you know what I mean? So you will be doing, you'll have skills in UX. I mean, a lot of the sort of, like, there was a bespoke UX course here, but essentially a lot of that was from the curriculum that graphic design was doing. So I'd say probably Katrina could probably speak to her experience with UX if she was of a mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do have a couple modules in, especially third and fourth year that do a bit of UX, and one of our lecturers is on the UX course at the minute. But yeah, I think it's something that kind of the way that the thinking skills and that sort of thing that we do all the way up kind of prepares us for that. And it's more of it's quite an easy transition, I think, because we spend the whole 4 years thinking about users and user experience. So by the time that we actually get to a UX project, it's kind of second nature almost in how we approach a project. And it is something I'm really interested in as well. And I know a few people in my course are looking at UX masters and stuff. So it's definitely something that it prepares you for, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Katrina. So Michelle, yes, there's workshops. So basically the way the studio works in general is that, we go from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock every day, pretty much. There's one day that's for that's not studio practical work. There's one day that's for critical and contextual studies. And you have lectures on that day, and then you have time to read and, sort of just concentrate on that area. But in general, it's 10 to 5 every day. So there isn't, it's different to other courses in that way, in that it's sort of, we require heavy engagement and attendance from a student. The reason why we're doing that is we're trying to model ourselves on studio and industry. So when one of our students goes out to do internships, or when they go for a job, they're actually working at the speed that a studio works at. So that tends to be why we have such high employment numbers in relation to other courses. We tend to be stickier. Our students tend to go in and land the jobs, and it's because they're used to studio working. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Inez has asked, what year is Erasmus and for how long? So you can go out on Erasmus in year 2, and you can go out on year 3. So it's generally a term. You could go out, you potentially go out for a year, but IADT has a very specific DNA in how we do our business. So to a certain extent, we curate our partners based on what's that causes the least amount of disruption to your overall sort of learning journey. So we would advocate that you don't generally go out for more than a term at a time, because we need to make sure that you're on track for your overall to hit all your markers and all that sort of stuff. Okay. As far as how many countries you can choose from, I'm not entirely sure how many partnerships we have. I think it might be something like 15 universities or something like that we endorse, because we certainly don't endorse everybody, because there's going to be unequal sort of learning outcomes from the institute. So we need to have oversight of making sure that you're getting an education when you go away. So it's not a one size fits all deal. Okay. What careers do students occupy after the course? Well, that's quite varied. Essentially when you leave with a design degree, you're leaving with a way of thinking and a process and ways of solving problems. So ways of solving problems can be applied to graphic outcomes, they can be applied to websites and all that sort of stuff, but they can be applied to all sorts of different things: systems design, adversity design, social design. Like, there's really an awful lot of places that you can go. It's not just agencies and all that sort of stuff. A lot of grads have gone to work for NGOs. A lot of grads have gone to work for tech companies like IBM. So it's a very, very sought after skill. The particular style of problem solving, the process based sort of stuff. That's a really, really sought after skill. So I don't know if you saw it there in the video, where the IDI said that Ireland is producing 1,000 odd students, graduates a year. I don't even think it's that high, but that we'll need 6,000 graduates. We need to up our numbers. So the employment sort of future looks great. What I would say is that I try and get our students to sort of think about where they can go before they go out, you know, like to have value in themselves and to value their education. It's a really, really well-rounded education, and it's got a lot of transferable skills. So, you know, people can go and do the more typical stuff like layout and web design and illustration and UI UX design and all of that sort of stuff, art direction, but they can go on to other jobs that aren't, you know, shall we say, stereotypically graphic design careers. Okay. And thanks. It looks like there's a good Erasmus thing put in there. Thank you so much for that, Orla. Can I submit an animation portfolio? Or would I need to rearrange for graphic design? No, you can absolutely submit. You can absolutely submit any portfolio. I can say once we sort of see things like, you know, that you have energy or that you can problem solve or that you've got, you know, intuition and that you're curious, all of those kind of things we can discern. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily need to be built specifically like here's some type I put into it, or, you know, here's something that looks like graphic design. That's, you know, that's all fine, but what we're really interested is in the person and how they think. So even when you're doing an animation thing, you're probably going to be showing lots of process. You're going to be showing us loads of experiments and things like that, and that's all good. That'll work for us absolutely. You know, it's no problem. Okay. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Very good. It doesn't matter how old the work is. You know, once it's helpful to get us to know you, what your capabilities are, and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. You can put in work that has been made in collaboration with somebody else. You need to very, very, very specifically label what your role was on it. Do you know what I mean? So I would need to know, like, for example, if you showed me a movie and you said, like, I worked on this film, but you were the set designer, you know, I would need to know that that was your role, as opposed to, it would be helpful for me because then I'd know, okay, they didn't direct it. They're not doing, I shouldn't be watching how the camera moves, like, because those are somebody else's job and somebody else's decision in that context. So whatever it is that you've collaborated on, you need to be specific about where you had decision making and agency in it, and you'd need to sort of be quite you know, you'd need to make sure that we knew what that was. Applicants last year, I think there was 300 applicants last year. Yeah. So the main modules, I mean, like our modules sort of rhyme. So we do the same subject matters sort of over and over again. Now it doesn't tell you, you know, what necessarily the projects are or whatever, what you get to do when you're doing them. So for example, one of the ones that we would do would be visual thinking. So how to think visually, right? So that would be something, and we would do that in first year and second year. And actually within that, there would be art direction, and art direction would go through the years as well. So like even when you're sort of making film title sequences or doing motion graphics or video, stuff like that, art direction would be a big part of that. You would do layout, so you would be designing books and websites and all of that sort of stuff, static print, all of that sort of stuff. You'd be doing typography. And basically we do the same things as we go through the years. The years basically go foundational, fundamental sort of fundamental knowledge, and sort of the beginnings of trying to learn the design process. And the design process is sort of, you know, using frameworks and systems that really amplify your creativity, that give you sort of new ways of solving, takes a bit of the burden off of solving in traditional, I guess, you know, art ways, as it were. It's not as sort of interior. You get to sort of look at a lot of things, remix a lot of things. That's what happens in first year. Second year really is about, you know, the application of a lot of what you've learned in first year, but it's also about message and audience. Third year tends to be a lot about, how do I solve multiple problems at the same time for a client in a professional sort of way, right? So that's really about getting to grips with the idea of a professional studio, professional sort of practice. And fourth year is really about showing off. It's about showing off all of the stuff you've learned and taking all the stuff you've learned, really, really, really practicing it and bringing it up to a higher level to get yourself ready for whatever way it is that you want to position yourself for going into industry. Okay, hopefully you got something out of that answer. So Katrina, there's a question there for you. Any accommodation advice as IADT is far from the city? Is digs the only real option for those close to the college?
Yeah, I actually still live at home, so I don't know personally about that, but I do know that there is a building like a 10-minute walk from the college that does have a lot of students in it called Belintal, and I know for a fact that there's also a lot of fourth years in there, so there will be spaces there next year. I think for the most part, people do kind of do digs or they share a flat or a house with a few other people. It's actually not too bad getting in from the city. I know a fair few people who do live in the city centre and they get a dart or a bus in every day. I think the location of IDT can seem to be a bit hard to get to, and I do have a fair commute myself, but I like to think it's worth it. And it's not too bad. But yeah, no official IDT accommodation as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I kind of sometimes think that the inconvenience is sometimes an investment. Do you know, that may sound a bit odd. Okay, it can be inconvenient to get there, but you're still investing in yourself by sort of choosing a superior course. Do you get what I mean? So like it's sort of like positioning yourself to have a better experience after you graduate because you sort of came here. But I guess that's not, I mean, it's not great out there at the moment with prices and all of that sort of stuff. What I would suggest is that if you are coming to open day, to ask a good few students or to ask, as many students who have been who are knocking around what their experience is and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully if you can find somebody who is living where you're living, you can really dig into their commuter experience, or people who found solutions to that. Thank you for the question, and thanks Katrina for your answer. Is there a lot of essay writing, or is there is writing? Now, what I would say is that the writing isn't as important as the thinking. So like when you're doing critical and contextual studies, it is still about ideas. It's still about the thinking process. Our staff is here to support you in how to write, and we have really, really, really good supports in the college on, for people like me, right? So a couple of the staff members here have ADHD and dyslexia and stuff like that. There's really, really good supports around that. Like a lot of the profiles of our students are, have what people will call learning difficulties. We call them superpowers because it makes for really, really interesting problem solvers and sort of, lateral thinking and all that sort of stuff. It tends to be a really, really good thing for certain types of creativity. But what I would say is that we have support services here in the campus, and they are terrific, and that the lecturers who are teaching critical and contextual studies as far as writing goes, they know their stuff backwards, so they're going to be able to provide a lot of systems and frameworks for you. But really, what's interesting to us is the idea, is the ideation. I think this year, a couple of interesting things happened this year. I think most of the awards given out for essays this year were won by our students. Including the big Grand Prix sort of prize and all that sort of stuff, but a lot of nominations and all that kind of thing. But a lot of those guys, when they came here, would have sort of thought, I'm not good at this, or I'm not going to be able to do it. And, not only did they get over the line, their ideas were recognized as being rich and thoughtful and, innovative and all of that sort of stuff. So, if you don't necessarily need to worry too much about it, given the level of support. You know, it's not universally going to be a delightful experience for everybody, but you know, we'll do our best, but we're really big on the importance of it as well. So yeah, I would also say this year the sort of the design awards included photography for the first time, and the IADT students were, all of the top 10 nominees were IADT from graphic design, and the winner and the runners up were all graphic design IDT students, and we're very proud of that and the essays this year. I mean, we won a stack of awards this year, but just how well we did in essay writing and how well we did in photo video was particularly heartening. Okay, let's see. So yeah, if your portfolio is based around a theme, that's great. Just make sure we see all of the notebooks. It's really good actually to focus on one thing, because that gives us a great idea of, you know, how you work with constraints, different media, and all that sort of stuff. That's all wonderful stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's no problem at all. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay. Last year we offered 36 places on the course, thinking that 30 people would say yes, but all 36 said yes. So we had a very big class this year, but 30 is our ideal number for how many people will be in the class. So they're small classes and lots of lecturers. Okay. Yeah, you can include film in the portfolio. Absolutely, you can include links and all of that sort of stuff. That's all good. Knock yourself out. You know, going back to that question earlier on, if you're collaborating with other people, just make sure that you tell us what it is that you did in the film. You know, how many breaks do you get during the day? You don't get a lot of, you know, breaks as in this is an official break, but you know, like people are going for coffees and all that sort of stuff as and when, you know. Lunchtime is 1 to 2, you know, but it's for this. You're an adult when you're here, so you know you're in charge of whether you're here. You're in charge of when you take your breaks and all that sort of stuff. You know, you can't really. I wouldn't advise taking breaks in the middle of a lecture, but there's not that many lectures. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of like you're an independent learner. You know, would be what I would say to you. So I wouldn't sweat that too much. You know, oftentimes I have to tell the students to go out and take a break, or to go for a walk, or things like that, you know, or to go home. You know, like, you know, that's less common post COVID, but before COVID, like you couldn't get people out of the building, you know, they just wouldn't go home. They wouldn't. So that's not a culture that we're keen to foster. We are truly delighted with 4 hours of productive work in a day. We don't want to drive people too hard. There's no benefit to people working when they're tired, or you know, they need to take breaks. You know, actually, what I would like to say to anybody who's here is that taking a break is work. So that's a key component of taking of work, is to step back, to relax, to decompress, and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's a really, it should be considered a part of work, is taking breaks and taking a step back. Okay. Okay. I'm not entirely. I'll say so. Orla's answered that question about buses that run from the city centre. I think there's probably okay. So she could thank you, Orla, for that information on bus routes and stuff. That's really good. The open day is on the 25th of March. Thanks, Michelle. But like I say, you can contact me if you want to come in on another day. That's fine too. Is there any other interactive open days with the college? I don't really think so, but again, I would say that if you want to contact me, or if you have any questions, you know, you can come here, or you know, you can just touch base with me again if there's anything more that you want to learn. And indeed, if you want to talk to a student or two, we can potentially make that happen for you as well. So thanks for that question. Yes, open day is after. That's our second open day. So we would have had an open day earlier on in the year. So we've had an open day. This is a spotlight, and then we'll have another open day. But as I say, if you wanted to come and visit, and if you have friends here or if you know people here as well, just absolutely feel free to come. You know, that's no problem. Oh, thank you, Orly. I see you've answered that question there as well. Okay. And not only that, you've answered it really fully there. So thank you for that, Orla. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for me or Katrina? Oh, okay. So the grades have nothing to do with your school grades have nothing to do with the portfolio. The portfolios is assessed separately. So the portfolio marking is worth 600 points. For 600 points is the maximum you can get. Generally, I think you want to be aiming for 450 or above with a decent set of results from wherever. So do you have to write you don't have to write a personal essay with the portfolio. No. You can put in a personal statement if you like, particularly if there's some context that you want to help for us to understand. What I would say, guys, as well, is that we get quite a variety of applicants. So, half of our people are coming straight from school. Another cohort have done portfolio courses and all that sort of stuff. Generally the stuff with the portfolios from school aren't as good as the stuff that the portfolios aren't as strong or as voluminous as the ones from the portfolio courses, but that's fine because we're able to go, okay, so this portfolio was made with these constraints. I can still see, how this person, like what this person is like and how they're able to produce. And the same thing with the portfolios. It's like there's no judgment on somebody doing a portfolio course. Like you'll come to the course when it's right for you. Do you get what I mean? And it's funny, the blend, when people come in, they all sort of feel like, should I be here? If this person came in this way, this people go, no, it's about the people. We just want people. It doesn't matter to us how you got here. It's us trying to find out about who you are. And if you're the kind of person that suits the course, then terrific, Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to go back up because we had a good few questions there, which is great. Thank you, guys. I just go back up to where I am. Okay. So don't have to write that. Is it difficult to get there from Dublin in the morning? I'm not sure on that answer. I would, it would depend on where you're coming from in Dublin. And I think that's really a question for others who make that journey. As I say, most of our guys are a lot of them are commuting, so they either feel, if it is difficult, they feel that it's okay to sort of make that journey. I mean, oftentimes this is how we lose applicants, is the commute. But like I say, I see it as an investment. So like if you're able to secure a position that you want at the end of it, then you have to sort of take that into account, is that it's a full sort of it's a fuller problem than significant inconvenience in travel in some cases. Okay. How much research is required for the portfolio? No, you don't have to. You don't have to cite, where your ideas are coming from. I mean, the things that we're interested in is your ideas, right? So, like when you're showing, when we talk about research, generally it's visual research. It's research that you've done. Do you know what I mean? On sort of like you can show influences or whatever, but like, you know, say for example, it's how many different ways can I draw an apple? Do you know what I mean? Like if you do 20 drawings of an apple, or you do a cut and paste of an apple, or you do mixed media of an apple or whatever, like we're actually able to see you try things and, work out problems, or, or if you're deconstructing something and remaking it and reimagining it and all that sort of stuff, like that's all visual research, and all of that stuff is great for us as well. So I mean, you can show us that you've done art theory, or that you've looked at, modernists or impressionists or any of that sort of stuff, but that tells us that you comprehend looking at those guys. It's not necessarily, doesn't tell us as much about you and your spark, and how you think. It's not quite as illuminating. Thanks for the question. The course is pretty competitive, so we took on, so like we would take 10% of the people who apply for the course, or 10% of the people who've applied numbers wise for the course is what comes to the course. Some people make decisions about, it might be based on their commute and stuff like that, and they decide to go to another course, so but there is a fair bit of competition for the course, but that shouldn't discourage you. I mean, I think the points last year were under 600 for the course, I think. So, it shouldn't discourage you, the competition. And generally, I guess as a marker of what the course is, like how it's valued, like of the graphic design community, the people who own the agencies and are doing the hiring and firing, they tend to send their kids to our course. So, and they even send them from other countries. So, like there's people who are running graphic design agencies in London and stuff, and they're sending their kids to us. So, hopefully that says something about um, what how the graphic design community feel about us. But it doesn't preclude anybody. Everybody is welcome. Do you know what I mean? It isn't exclusive. But yeah, I would encourage. There is competition, but so what? Go for it. Yeah. There's no final number of the amount of pieces that you need in a portfolio. You say notebooks are the thing that I personally find the most helpful. But notebooks that actually show inquiry, curiosity, and playfulness. And I would say to that student, I'm going to be in Sallynoggin. Well, I'm going to be in Sallynoggin next week, so you can feel free to have a chat with me then. I'll be in teaching the fashion students photography on Thursday of next week. So if you want to have a chat with me, I'll be knocking around. There is a project day for this course, yes. I'm not entirely sure on the day. There you go. Orla's already ahead of it. Okay. So yeah, thanks Orla for answering that. And guys, if you are thinking of doing project day can be instead of your portfolio, you can do that instead of your portfolio. It generally is portfolios that tend to be the thing that get people onto the course, although project day can get you onto the course, doesn't get as many people on as portfolios. What I would say is that the work that you generate on the project day can go into your portfolio, and often that's extremely helpful for the applicants to sort of really understand, the process, or what we might, that it's really illuminating for us, and it's really helpful to I guess, your overall submission. Yes, the project day can be used instead of a portfolio. It's not really a drawing day. We designed, like, part of it will be drawing, but other parts of it will be like spatial and environmental, or sort of play and all of that sort of stuff. So it won't just be about draftsmanship for sure. There'll be different kind of things that you would be doing. Okay. I'm not entirely sure there. Okay. I'm not sure on that. I might ask you to I can't quite understand that question there, Michelle. Sorry. Maybe you might have another stab at that. Okay. I'm not actually sure whether they're in real life. I think they might be online, Thomas. I think I'm not sure. I think Orla might have maybe have a look at that link there above. Project data. Okay, so I think more than likely a fair bit of that is going to be online, I think. Oh, they're likely to be in person this year. Okay, so the details aren't posted yet. Yeah. So details aren't available yet. Thomas, sorry about that. Okay, looks like, thanks, Michelle, for restating that. And it looks like Orla's giving you a good answer there. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I think if there's nothing else, guys, we might see us hopefully on open day, or I might see you when I'm reviewing your portfolios and all that sort of stuff, or on project days. Like I say, you don't have to be strangers if you want to reach out. Peter.evers@iadt.ie is the course coordinator's email. So let us know if you want to touch base. Okay, I might hand you back over to Orla, or are we just saying goodbye? I think we're just saying goodbye now, are we? Is that our thing? So we'll just give you little bits of reminders. So you can follow us on social media. You can follow IADT on that. You can have a look at our webpage. And you can have a dig into the so there's the webpage on the IADT thing, which will give you information about the course. You can look at student work in the link to iadtdesign.com. You'll find stuff in there, and then there's the on-show exhibition from last year. You can have a look at all of that sort of stuff. Obviously, open day is on the 25th of March. There's information about portfolios available on the website. You can ask us questions at any time at info@iadt.ie. Or using the chat option on the website. And really, thank you so much for taking the time to out of your evening to spend time with us. It's very much appreciated. Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for attending. I think that was a really good turnout and lots of really good questions there. So thanks for that. All of this is going to be recorded, so I know we just got some late arrivals there, but it should be posted onto the graphic design page, hopefully, in the next week or so. We're going to be sending it on to the marketing team. So yeah, if you miss any of the information there, feel free to send queries to peter.evers@iadt.ie. I've posted, in the chat. I've just pinned it there, so just take a note there of the emails if you relate and you missed any of that. Thanks again, Peter. And thanks, Katrina, for all of your...
Thank you, Katrina, and
your help.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end the call now. So thanks again, guys.